On my channel, you know I say it as it is. There's no point in sugarcoating things, okay? There's no reason to sugarcoat something that I know it's real. Some people might shy away from talking about it, but for me, I will always come out here to talk about it. So what am I here to talk about today? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wemimo and I'm also known as That Mom of 5 and also known as TMO5 Candle Co. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. So today's video, it's kind of like left me in a lot of emotions, and I just want to say this. On my channel, you know I say it as it is. There's no point in sugarcoating things, okay? There's no reason to sugarcoat something that I know it's real. Some people might shy away from talking about it, but for me, I will always come out here to talk about it. So what am I here to talk about today? I'm going to point it straight to you that racism, yes, racism is very, very much in the heart in the UK. I don't know about anywhere else. I've only lived in the United Kingdom, and I'm going to tell you there's racism in workplace, there's racism in schools, there's racism everywhere. Even walking on the street, there's racism. When I'm talking about racism can be defined in various ways. So you can, I'm going to spare you giving you a definition here. But if you want to know what racism involves, feel free to go onto Google and do that. But what the part of racism that infuriates me, that gets me upset, is when it involves children, and I categorize children as young ones below the age of 18. Reason why it infuriates me is because I am a mom whose child was racially abused at the age of 8. She was only 8 years old. She was in, I think, primary 3 or primary 4 when she was racially abused. And you think I am happy? No. It got me upset to the extent that I complained. I wrote to the Education Ombudsman. Out of the 5 points of what I felt they should have done, 4 of the things I wrote about was being agreed with, and it's going to be it was meant to be implemented into the school policies. And even with that being said, I still did not leave my kids in that school. I moved my kids elsewhere to another school, and they were actually attending a particular school before we moved home. And when I moved them to their previous school, the head teacher had to call me and say, Wemi, if I knew you were going to move to Easter House or to East End of Glasgow, I would have advised you that if you're going to put your child into a school, and this advice is going to, if you're a new immigrant in the UK, or if you're moving from one city to another, or if you have been in this country for so many years and you've never experienced racism, or your kids have never experienced racism, I want to give you this advice. If you're going to put your child in a school, or if you're moving places and you want to put your child into another school, if the population of that school is not 50-50, that is 50% population of white kids and 50% of ethnic minority kids, and ethnic minority kids could be Asians, could be Nigerians, could be Africans, could be Chinese, could be anything, as long as 50% is ethnic minority group. If that population is not 50-50, please, I'm saying it as it is, do not put your children in such school. And why am I here today? So I was scrolling through Instagram this morning, and there was a post of a black boy being bullied by a white boy. So I'm gonna read it here. So I'm gonna be sharing the video, but before I share the video, I will let you know, because I need to put a viewer's discretion. People have always said, well, if you're gonna show videos, please put viewer's discretion. So put a viewer's discretion, and then I'll showcase the video. So once I'm gonna put a viewer's discretion, I will let you know. But let's talk about this story. So it says that I actually find this on Instagram this morning. It's a video of a school kid getting racially abused and assaulted by a group of white kids in the UK, and this video has gone viral, and you guys are going to watch it on my channel. The incident occurred at St. John Henry Newman Catholic School in Carlisle. In this video, a white boy was seen punching the black kid and asking him to kiss his dirty shoes. His friends laughed as he punched the victim. The black child, who felt he could do nothing, kissed the white boy's shoes as others cheered on. A Nigerian doctor who actually saw the video reacted, and I'm going to pop his comments somewhere. A Nigerian doctor who reacted to the video expressed disappointment that racism is now being extended to children. One thing that you guys are not aware of is that racism has always been So when I'm telling you, I came into this country in 2006, 2005 to 2006, and my daughter was 8 years old when she was racially abused. So how long ago was that? Racism has always been. Before, they were hiding it, they would not do it in open place, but now they are now out, showcasing it, doing it everywhere. Because, you know, like this boy in this video, maybe he's below the age of 18. At the end of the day, when the police arrest him, he's not going to go to jail. I'm going to tell you that. It's not going to go to jail, because at the end of the day, when my 8-year-old daughter was racially abused as well, it was a girl in our school. I went into the school to ask the school about it, and because the school did not tell me about the incident. It was my older child that came home and told me about it. And then I went to the school complaining, and they were like, hey, we can't tell you the identity of the child. I'm like, I'm not telling you to give me the identity of the child. I just want to know what you're going to do to that child. They were like, no, we can't tell you. Obviously, I spoke to my landlord, because I said, no, I want to move out of this area. And they were like, what happened? I told my landlord about the incident, and my landlord obviously contacted the school, and they found out that the parent of this girl was also a tenant of their housing. I mean, was also their tenant. So they wrote to say, no, this will not be condoned. But still, I still moved out of that area, and I still moved my kids out of that school. So the thing is this: racism has always been extended to children from the beginning. It's just that the ones that have been extended to children are not being done in bright daylight. They do it in the corner where nobody will see them. But now they are getting bold that nothing will happen to them, hence why they are doing it in the open. So viewers' discretion. I'm going to pop the video now so you guys can see it.
In my veins, I've been driving this train, years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the...
So as you guys can see, that was what happened. And then there was another post to say that the 13-year-old boy has been arrested. So this post, I'm going to pop it here, is from the Cumbria police. It says that we can confirm officers have arrested a teenage boy in relation to a report of 8 incidents involving a boy being assaulted in Carlisle. Officers are aware of images relating to this incident being circulated online and concerns in the community over the incident. As an arrest has been made, we would urge people not to share the video. I'm sharing this video, I don't care, so as not to impede any legal proceedings or to identify any of the children involved. Well, this boy that was racially abusing this black boy, he had a hood on and his friends were filming, and at some point he took his hood off, which is good because that can help, identify him quicker. Involved any eyewitnesses or anyone with information can contact police on 101. So this boy, obviously, police are saying now that they've arrested the boy, and I can tell you, looking at the age of that white boy, it's probably below the age of 16, and at the end of the day, it's not going to go to jail, because at the end of the day, they will send these details to the prosecutor fiscal, and they will tell you that's not the kind of cases they want to be sending someone to court for. It might just receive maybe a warning, but then do you not think it should be getting more than a warning? Because in that video, you could see him punch the black boy, and then asked him to kiss his boot, and the boy did. And there's been lots of mixed feelings about people's opinion that why should the black boy kiss his boot. So I'm going to share a couple of opinions from people if I can find it, and if not, I'll just talk about it. So in that instance, I want to applaud that boy, that black boy, because if he decides to fight this white boy, he's outnumbered already. There's been maybe about 3 or 4 of them to him alone. If he decides to fight back, they might beat him up and injure him and hurt him, and there's nobody there who's going to help with this boy. There was, I think maybe late last year or early last year, there was a video where a black girl was being beaten up by a couple of white girls in front of his school, and there are teachers, parents in their cars, white parents in their cars, watching this fight, and none of them stepped out of their car to break up the fight, whereby a mom and 3 or 4 girls were beating up a black girl. The head teacher and some teachers were walking by. Parents were in the car. Like, obviously it was school hours. They were going to go pick up their kids. There was traffic held up in cars. And these white parents sat in their car, watched multiple girls beat up this black girl. They ripped off her braids. They did so many things. They did not do anything. So I want to say I applaud that 13-year-old black. I mean, I'm not sure of his age, but I applaud him for not standing up to his bullies. Because if he had done so, who knows if these boys had a knife. And yes, as the boys, white kids, even other ethnic children, I'm not saying this is white kids alone, other black kids also go about with knives. But in this particular instance, what if that white boy was carrying a knife? What if he was carrying a knife and this boy, black boy, is like, okay, I want to show machoism, and he starts to fight. What if he was stabbed? What if he gets stabbed? So I'm quite happy that this black boy kissed this boy's boot and he was able to go home to meet his parents. So with that being said, I've also got boys at school as well. And there's been instances whereby my son has been, has been sent home from school because, obviously somebody bullied him and he stood up for him. He stood up for himself. Someone was bullying him in school and he did the same back to the boy. And I've always been there, don't always be the first person to throw the first punch. If you throw the first punch, they will say, oh, you are the one that hit me first. Meanwhile, if they were the one that hit you first, go ahead and beat them to stupor. Yes, I've always said this to my son. And also what I've always advised my kids as well is that if you're out of school and you're being bullied by a group of boys or group of students, if you're just by yourself, don't engage them. If you can find yourself away from them, run. Either run back to school or run to a safe place. Don't engage them. And then when you get home, you talk to us about it. Because if that boy had engaged those white boys, it could have been beaten up because there's more than 2 of them. It could have been stabbed. And God forbid that happens to that boy. His parents will never forgive themselves. So also, how do we go about this racism? Like I said, racism has always been everywhere. There's racism at workplace. Me sitting down here, I have experienced racism at work before. There's a story somewhere on my channel. I'm going to link it in the cards. I've experienced racism at workplace, on the streets, on the bus home from work, and obviously each time that I've experienced racism, I've always stand up for myself because I am an adult. And nowadays I always say to people that whoever is going to walk up to me or see me and decide that they want to racially abuse me, that person will have to try harder because I'm going to go in 50-50. But what happens to children? What happens to kids who are the gentle type, who just go about doing their own things? How do we protect our kids? And one thing I want to say is this. So when some people are saying racism is not open out there, racism is open out there. And for me, when it comes to being an African, I've not experienced racism. In the 3 times I've experienced racism, it has not always been with white people. It has always been with Asian people. Out of the 3 times I was racially abused, 2 of the 3 times were from Asian people, yes. And 1 was from a white girl that I worked with when I was working at the supermarket. So, for me, if you're a white person, you talk to me anyhow, I give it back to you. But how about a kid, a school age? And then the way schools are going on about it, I don't think schools have any policies to safeguard minor or ethnic minority kids that have been racially abused. Because at the end of the day, when you go into school and say this happened, they will say, oh, it happened out of school. So if it happened out of school and I've come in to report to you, so that way you could either maybe warn this kid or send a letter home, and you're telling me, oh, you need to involve, yes, I'm going to involve the police, but what's going to stop such attitude being done against, or what's going to stop such acts being carried out against my child if they go back to school? There's been a few times where I've been told that my kid was fighting in school. I'm like, yes, let him fight. It was in school. Let the school see it so that they can deal with it. Because there's been instances of when situations has happened outside of school, and I've gone back into the school, and the school like, oh, because that incident happened outside of school, they won't be doing anything. I was so mad that I asked contact. For me, I will not, anything that's got to do with the safety of my kids, I will not keep quiet about it. I will not keep quiet about it. If it means involving the school, if it means dragging the school, if it means dragging whoever who is at high place that I felt could do something about it, I'm going to drag them, because these are my kids and I will not joke with my kids, just as every white folks out there do not joke with their children. So yes, we train our kids to show respect, to love. They are also teaching their kids to do the other way around, because I believe racism is taught, is learned. This boy who racially abused that black boy in that video, he actually learned that behavior from his folks, from his friends, from his family. Because any behavior a child portrays, let me tell you, it's been learned. They learned it either from their family, from their parents. They just did not start doing it. They've seen their folks doing it. That's why they are doing it. And I'm not saying this does not go for black people as well. We've heard of instances of in London where a young girl was stabbed to death because she stood up for a girl. There's lots of things happening, but in most cases, racism is everywhere. and we should not be keeping quiet about it. I'm out here speaking about this. Like, for those of you who are new immigrants to the UK, racism is everywhere. It's at workplace. Have you been told that your food stinks because you put your food in the microwave, and they're telling you, oh, is that fish? Is that fish? And they tell you, oh, I don't like the smell of fish. If you don't like the smell of fish, cover your nose. You're not going to tell me not to bring my food to work because I've got fish. I should not bring my food. To me, that's discrimination. That's racism. It's happening, and do not keep quiet about it if you ever come across it. And to parents, how do we go about make sure our children stay safe? One is this: if your children ever find yourself in the same situation as this black boy, if there's more than 3 or 4 people who are trying to accost him, please advise your child not to retaliate, not to join in the fight. If it means doing their bidding, do their bidding and walk home straight to your parents and, report to your parents. 2, if it's possible, advise your kids to walk home in groups. I'm sure your kids will have friends in class and friends that live maybe same street or something. Advise them to walk home in groups. Okay? If you're not gonna get on the bus to get home, if they're going to walk home from school, advise your kids to walk home in groups. 3, in this instance, if somebody who's actually bullying your child outside of school is doing it outside of school, I believe that they are doing so to your child in school as well. So encourage your kids to always report any instances that involves them and their bullies to either their year head or their pastoral care teacher, whoever. Make sure it's been reported. Advise them to report. And once they get home, if they report to you as a parent, make sure you are taking it up with the school. So in this regard now, in this case of the video we've watched, the school is going to say it happened outside of school, and I want to believe that it's the boy's parents that called the police. So if any incident happened outside of school, make sure you're calling the police and make sure you're notifying the school as well, because these kids, most of them carry knives, and you don't want a situation whereby your kid will be caught up in any of their shenanigans. So this is just my opinion in regards to that video. That boy, that white boy, I can tell you, is not going to be jailed. He's probably just going to receive a warning, and that's it. That's all he's going to do, because they'll say he's a teenager, he's a young boy, he's below the age of 18. They're not going to send him to jail. But then I'm happy that this black boy did what he did, and he went home alive, safe, to his parents. Guys, let me know your thought in the video. Do you think the boy shouldn't have kissed the white boy's boot? Do you think the black boy should have engaged in a fight with the boys even though he is outnumbered? Do you think what the police said, like, yeah, don't stop sharing this, no, we're going to share this? Do you think we should stop sharing this video? Because there are lots of people coming to the UK every day, in as much as we want to tell them that there's still racism, but racism is definitely out there. It's there 100%. It's like a plague that can never be gotten rid of in the United Kingdom. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. And if your kid has ever experienced racism before, or any sort of discrimination, or you as a parent has ever experienced racism or discrimination before, let me know in the comment section. Let's talk about it. And if you have watched this video up until now and you've not yet liked or subscribed, what are you waiting for? So don't forget to like, drop a comment in the comment section, subscribe if you're here to do so, share this video, and let's spread this news that racism is out there and there's a way to deal with it. And I hope to catch up with you in my next video. All right, bye.